Hello, my sea snails. Seabro here, and today we'll be reviewing a Grandmaster Ana and Lucio player. Let's jump straight into the action.
For 3 years.
You missed a set nade, but that's not a big deal. So we set up here. That makes sense, right? Because you have a mega health pack right by you, and you don't have a main healer that will be able to play with you, so it'll give you that little bit of extra safety. It'll also be easy for your team to counter dive if anyone engages you, and you do have the option to push forward if you want to. Okay, I'm not the biggest fan of this nade. Yes, it hits and gives you some juicy ultimate charge, and it will prevent them from walking in for a few seconds, but you had no certainty that this was going to hit, and you don't have it up for like 10 seconds, and your brain might be telling you that it would be up in time, but there's a good chance that if this nade missed, then you would need to use it before it's up again, because 10 seconds is a really long time in Overwatch. Loving the aggressive shots. Panic nade. Nice rotation. Unlucky that it got blocked there. Wasted sleep. You started off really strong and confident, but as the fight developed and people started to get critical and whatnot, it kind of felt like you lost your cool a little bit, and it showed itself with who you were targeting, your ability usage, and obviously the positioning at the end there. I would be tempted not to show myself to the enemy here. You have Nano, which is going to be your team's win condition for this fight, but there also isn't really anywhere safe to play on this point. They can't actually dive you if they don't know where you are, and you don't really need to be spamming here because you already have your ultimate. I would prefer you taking your time to set up with your Ashe though. One, it's quite a long dive for the enemy, but it's also a position where the Zarya and Kree can't really follow up on.
Get in there.
I don't like this nano at all, and you probably realise why, but your ball is backing up. The rest of your team isn't playing aggressive. Wrecking Ball does most of his damage with Pile Driver and then pew pew, but he's not in position to do anything. And then we use an aggro nade, but we miss, and then we rotate through point when they have a Pharah who could totally abuse us right now, and we don't have nade to save ourselves.
You're powered up. Get in there. I will keep you here.
Please stop wasting nade. We're now just jumping around in the open. When things get chaotic, I feel like you get a tendency of wanting to be a bit stressed, which is not uncommon at all. There is no reason we can't be hugging a corner here though. Wasted sleep again. And this shows the disadvantage of these two low ground positions. They are both really easily accessible to Winston and also Pharah, and can also be pushed on by Zarya and Kree. Whereas the high ground is much harder for them to get into position and dive you. And you also have much longer to try and sleep the Pharah or Winston as they try to engage. Also, you have generally better sightlines. Let me jump into practice range real quick and show you how difficult it is to attack this position. So as Winston, you can jump from here, but there's this big platform thing in the way, so you have to kind of push out quite far. Same on the other side. But you cannot really get there from behind this box. And even if they do jump from really quite far back, you have plenty of time to sleep them. Pharah can get there a little bit easier with a flank angle or a concussion blast. But let's compare it with the side angle that you're playing at. Here, not only can Farah get a really nice, strong angle on you, but they have a really nice flank route, and Winston can dive you from literally anywhere. Anyways, moving on. Then we change to Lucio to touch. Then straight away we jump the Ana, I like it. Oh my god, you're such a slippery boy. Not a big deal. I don't expect you to know that McCree is here, but damn, you're lucky. Risky. Going back to heal our Ana, I like it. Nice. Nice, I like it. You're playing very risky for defense on 2 CP, right? And it was the same about 20 seconds ago when you were going for boops and the big choky thing. By literally standing on this high ground and booping people off, you get a lot of value. Don't overthink it, you don't have to be doing 500 actions per minute to get value on Lucio. Sometimes you can just chill. Path straight through point and random amp. Ooh, that was nice. Not a big deal, you just banged into a ledge, it happens. Okay, this point isn't the easiest to contest as Lucio because of these awkward walls all around point. But you can actually go very high to contest point. Let me jump into a custom game and show you what I mean. You can run up the walls and use this little room as cover over here. When you're having touches, you can go and heal up over here and go out again, and if this was in your game, you would have had beat ready. Touching point contest can be very stressful, especially when it's so close to them getting point, but you need to keep calm and practice good wall riding. Okay, I'm not too fussed about that there. Nice! I do still think you should be wall riding here and not in Zarya's face. Having a height will give you so many more options, much better sidelines. So generally speaking, you want to start bouncing off walls and then int into whoever you fancy. But when you yeet yourself around this corner, I'm not convinced you had a clue what your plan was. It might have been that you rushed getting onto point because you didn't trust your ball and tracer touching. You know your brain better than I do. Anyways, let's continue. I like spamming here, but no reason not to be standing close to cover. All it takes is some Farah spam and Kree clicks and you'll die very quickly. Oh, I love it so much. You could actually go around the other way and get a flank angle on the team. That'd be quite nice. I'm not convinced that you are trying to aim here, or trying to burst down targets at all. You're kind of just autopiloting. I know that you can aim, I've seen you do it, but it's fairly common that when players get uptight and stiffen up, that they kind of forget to focus and hit their shots. That they just shoot randomly and target random enemies. It was similar with your Ana play. I think you could really just benefit from just relaxing. You will know whether this is true more than me. I'm just looking at some random replay of yours. I might be wrong, you might be really chill and calm here, but if you are tense during the chaotic teamfights like this, then you need to try and figure out the reason. It might be that you're playing a high elo game. It might be that you really don't want to drop down to Masters. It might be that you aren't confident in your own gameplay, or it could be that you just take the game too seriously. And then try to figure out how you can relax more. You can have the best game sense in the world, but if you can't keep calm when the team fight happens and end up autopiloting most fights, then you will never reach high GM or top 500. Because I know you know that you haven't really done anything in this fight at all. You don't need to panic here. I know I did talk about this before, but I will do it again. Wall riding not only makes it harder for Zarya and Winston to do damage to you, but it also makes it much easier for you to find cover when you take damage. On this map specifically, there isn't great hiding spots on the low ground. You could possibly chill here maybe? But if you're wall riding, you have so many more spots that you can chill, and you'll find it so much easier to find someone to assassinate. Not sure why we amp hills here. Respawn simulator, fun game. Unlucky, next round. Bad start, bad start. I would like to see you scouting through the top window here. You have to wait for your Ana to come back anyways, but you really want to know where the enemy Ana is, and definitely you want to know where the enemy McCree is. You don't want to end up blindly diving in with your Winston. Your Ana isn't back yet, your team is just throwing so hard. Why is your Ana wasting nade? What is your ball doing? Have faith in your Ana to heal that way. Not only are you wasting amp, but you're also taking heals away from Ana. I really want to see you bounce across point less often. You could have shot from behind the bubble, but any time that you're just like running across point, you're basically squishy. You are squishy. Nice, nice, not a bad time bank. It's not really your job to heal the tanks. I would prefer to see you take different angles. It would mean that you take less spam damage because they'll be focusing your tanks. You get better angles and you'll be able to spam out with Winston and Ana standing here. And just be a general pain. That's what Lucio is, he's just a pain to the enemy. Don't mind the massive monkey jumping across your screen. There isn't enough happening on point to want you go mega aggressive right now. Pilling for your Ash is just a better play here. It makes me so nervous when you get this close to McCree. Nice kill, nice kill. I know that I've said it before and I don't want to be too repetitive, so this will probably be the last time I say it, but try to wall ride. You're so much safer wall riding. Going up here isn't bad, you can heal and speed your team. Again, the other sides give you a really nice angle on the high ground that you're trying to force out, but it'll also make it much harder for the enemy to jump out. Also, you can pressure out the Ana from here. I just think that this angle is generally really good for Lucio on attack. Like, point is pretty symmetrical, you've got like the right side and the left side, and if you all attack from the right side high ground, then it gives a really nice safe area for the defending team, whereas if you attack like from two angles, then there's not really much safe place that they can set up. I hope that kind of makes sense. I don't think I'm explaining it overly well. I love it. Nice. Nice. Unlucky, not much wrong with that. Your team just threw. Simple. I'm not overly convinced that you have scouted the McCree yet, so it's a bit aggressive for me. That is actually mega unlucky. You were wrong to jump up there before your tanks because you weren't really going to achieve anything, and McCree could have been around the corner. But that Farah shot was actually really unlucky. So I feel like you don't really have a pill mode. And the enemy Winston has recognised this because he's now just setting up and attacking your backline. On Volskaya B, there's this really massive disconnect between your backline, who usually play really far back, and your front line, on point. You need to pressure out this Winston and force it out leap before you push, and that is more important than pressing W. You're going to find it so hard to take last point Volskaya if you don't have any heals in the backline. Having said all that about 10 seconds ago, it did work and you won. Nice time on the time bank. Next round. Okay, nice defense. Not really enough gameplay for me to comment on your Baptiste play, but next round. Your Ana isn't having a great time this game, I'm not gonna lie. Unlucky, you commit, but the rest of your team doesn't, so you lose. Arguably, you should not run out here because it makes it a lot easier for the enemy team to run over your Ana, but the main problem I have with this play is you end up just walking across point in LOS of their team. If you're going to make this play, you need to wall ride, and you need to wall ride all the way around and then commit onto the D.Va. You need to realise that if you are not wall riding, then you are basically a slightly quicker version of Zenyatta, and you're just walking across point. Like, you are hella vulnerable. The only thing that allows Lucio players to play aggressive or make Reddit Lucio plays is his ability to speed in and his wall riding ability. In this case, you have neither. You're just walking across points. Like, could you imagine if a Zenyatta was just like positioned here? Like, that's not good. I really like denying this high ground. Fair enough beat. The enemy team's Winston player is the best player in the lobby in my opinion because they are very good at noticing the vulnerable people on your team. And fairly consistently that's either the backline that you aren't pilling for, or in this case it's you who's just dropped into the middle of a point and suddenly you are so squishy that Winston dives you. You are nowhere near a water escape, you don't have amp speed and you're pretty lucky to get out there. Okay, last fight. Why are we amping? Not much we could have done about the pulse bomb there. Good job marking the tracer though. The fight is already lost to be honest. Again, we're standing on point. And it's a draw, 21 minutes well spent. Let's look at the main things I think you need to work on. Okay, let's start with your Ana gameplay. You didn't play her for too long, but you seem to waste your cooldowns too much. Especially since you don't have a Brig to protect you, and the enemy team has a Winston Pharah. The only thing that makes the enemy Winston and Pharah think twice about diving you is your ability to sleep. So using it randomly, it makes them very happy indeed. Similarly, aggressive nades are fine, but you need to be pretty sure that they'll win the fight for you, because if not, then you should be holding on to it to protect yourself against a Pharah or Winston dive. You only use Nano once, so I won't complain too much about that. The other big thing is you seem to panic a fair bit, which causes your positioning and your aim to just go out the window. I said it before, I might be wrong. It might be that you're not panicking, but that's the most likely reason in my opinion. Moving on to your Lucio gameplay, it's the same thing. You seem to forget to wall ride when things get spicy, and you forget to commit to one target. It's hard to suggest a fix for panicking, right? Because it's such a personal problem to each individual. But the usual one that I suggest to try and fix the problem is to try and focus on consistent breathing. And sometimes that can sort it out. Or sometimes chucking on some calm music in the background or something can help. Whatever it is, you need to try and fix it. It's incredibly important that you maintain high wall riding whenever possible. And even if you are on the low ground, positioning close to a wall will allow you to escape much easier. But I think you know that. I think you just need to sit down and remember to do it. Moving on, you also seem to have a complete lack of respect for enemy CC abilities, which gets you in a little bit of trouble. You might also want to consider taking different angles to your tanks. Obviously, if you're playing a ball-based composition, you're going to need to speed them in. But with a composition like you have here, like a dive-based composition, you will get much more value by taking an extra angle. Last thing I want to mention is pilling for your supports. It's a really hard balance to get, and when you're in carry mode, it's tempting to always go for the aggressive play over the defensive play. And lots of the time that's really not wrong, but if you can try to set yourself up to boot the incoming Winston, then your Ana and Ashe would have been pretty thankful. In that game, that would have meant that your tanks would have had much more sustain. Anyways, that is it for this VOD review. I hope you learned something. Good luck on your climb. If anyone else has any questions, chuck me a comment down below. But that is all for now. I will see you in the next video. Ka-chow!